It is a good time to be a rom-com fan. The fact that these shows, whether it be Horimiya or Tomo-chan is a girl, the fact that we are getting these shows that are short, sweet, and to the point. They may make you laugh, they might have a little sprinkle of drama from time to time, but the fact that we get to the point where we can leave a show with one more episode to go. This is a 13 episode show, mind you. This isn't all we got. We still got one more to watch and just be indulged by it. And the fact that it's one of those shows where it doesn't beat around the bush. It starts with a confession that gets blown away and you have this comedy direction. And for the first half of the show, it's funny of the will they won't they. And when it could get boring and a little repetitive, they then shift the focus over to June, who did the rejection and acted like he had no idea, and the fact that we then got to see it from his perspective. The fact that by episode 12, we get to a point where it is an awkward confession, it is a brutal confession, but it's a confession that's perfect for these two lovable idiots. And the fact that by the end of episode 13, we're going to be able to leave Tomo-chan as a girl with a grin on our face, looking back fondly on the comedy, looking back fondly that the chemistry was always there, but the fact that they got over the issues that were there without making anything last longer than needed, there isn't much like Tomo-chan, and I am going to miss it when it does come to a conclusion next week. Now, I have a full live reaction to this wonderful episode available on my Patreon, so if you do want to see my full uncut thoughts, head on over there and consider supporting, as this one was great. I mean, I was second guessing it, because, I mean, truthfully, walking into this, I'm like, okay, if the confession's gonna happen, it's gonna be in episode 13. But then in just a few minutes, the Cinderella plays over, because I think a lot of us were probably expecting it to probably be like they would still have some setup, some rehearsals. I was thinking someone was going to get a sprained ankle, and then June would probably end up coming in and ending up being like they'd have to go like, oh, we're actually going to make Tomo Cinderella and June can be the prince because maybe Mizuzu sprains her ankle or something. But no, they make it a pretty normal play, which kind of makes the quick succession of everything happening okay in my opinion, because while yes, you have the gender bent Tomo who flusters everyone in the crowd, for the most part it's a pretty normal play with a couple of funny moments. The moms being there was a great touch. So the fact that you get that over with and then almost immediately just put the focus and put all the time and energy into our boy's confession, the fact that he feels bad about Mizuzu, and the fact that even though Mizuzu says like she's never been in love, I think even though most of that relationship she regrets, I think that first day she did enjoy it before ultimately all of the, okay, we're gonna go on adventures and I want to break up with you. So I like the fact that we resolved that. We have Mizuzu basically pour her heart on the table and say, I'm responsible, you should have never had to change Tomo. He literally would have loved you for exactly who you are. And the fact that everyone comes out of this good. They don't come out of this feeling like, oh, you betrayed me for all these years, making me think I needed to change. Like, it's all one big misunderstanding and everyone has a little regret in their own way. The only one who feels like she's just content with everything is Carol because she comes from a different planet, and the fact that she's actually broken Mizuzu to the point that she can now hug her without getting a face shoved away sort of a thing. I mean, it's a lot of progress. So I do feel a little bad for Mizuzu because even though Carol's now in a committed relationship, she still wants to kiss Mizuzu, so I mean, she's gonna have her hands full for some time. But I love the fact that they resolve everything in a satisfying time frame. I mean, you can even look at the moment when Mizuzu initially stayed home from school, right? The fact that Tomo just threw it in her face, like, if you hate me, I can't change it, but if you're overthinking it, get your act together. The show didn't waste any time. And similar to Horimiya, it may not adapt every chapter that the source material has, but it adapts the right ones. And in doing so, you get this very short, sweet, but to the point show. And I think the way they handled June's confession, it was brutally honest. I mean, he's finally saying the love word. He said it to not one, but two characters before Tomo. I was like, okay, he's actually no longer confused. He's fully admitting it. And the fact that he kind of sneaks it in with like, I challenge you on the rooftop to then the sneak attack, love attack. I honestly was kind of expecting Tomo to be Tomo and just jump off the roof and her legs would be able to save her from death because, I mean, she was running away so much, I wasn't going to put it past her. But the fact that she's upset, he first starts off saying, hit me, and she's like, well, why would I hit you? And then once he's like, okay, so when you confessed to me that day, and she's pretty much like, wait a second, you knew that? I mean, he kind of had the punch coming, but granted, he did ask for it, so it was a consensual, punch, all things considered. I like the fact that there's this awkwardness about it, because in a normal situation, they would just be boyfriend and girlfriend after the confession and they both are walking home. But she's very scared about losing her best friend. It's adorable. It's absolutely adorable, because ultimately, the relationships that thrive and last forever are where you consider your partner to be your best friend, where you want to do everything with them. And ultimately, the only thing they were missing really to be a committed couple is a more intimate relationship, the hand-holding, the kissing, and everything else that comes afterwards. So the fact that she's thinking that it becomes something different and she's scared of losing her best friend, he's like, no, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna challenge each other. We're gonna literally be identical. It's just gonna be more romantic. And I love how it takes until him falling down the steps, somehow not snapping his neck on the way down. I guess Tomo punching him all these years really built up the muscle around his neck, because otherwise that thing would have snapped like a twig. I mean, he's fell down a lot of stairs. Like that was a dangerous move. I just love it. I think it's so sweet. I think it's so adorable. It's like, we got these hair-pulling moments earlier on, but the fact that they never let them linger and become extra drama like most of these authors do. The reason I kind of have grown out of a lot of rom-coms recently is that eventually it kind of got to the point where these plot points would happen and characters would start hating each other, or they would get misunderstandings, and it would last for like 3 to 4 episodes of content. And honestly, I'm like, no, there's easier ways to write things. I would rather just see characters in a relationship, have it be simple and cute, than have a character hate a character over some dumb misunderstanding. And Tomo-chan as a girl is all about avoiding those and just making something that was trying to make you laugh and melt your heart. And at times, yes, there was key moments that might have been infuriating, but it was done so intentionally, like the fact that he abandoned our girl for like a whole year. Like, yeah, he got his ass beat for that for obvious reasons, but the fact that for the viewer, it wasn't multiple episodes, it was all started and resolved in one episode. When you can have drama start and be resolved all in a singular episode, that's the difference between a good rom-com and a bad one anymore. Because honestly, most anime fans, I don't think this is going to be a controversial opinion, we just are sick of pointless drama in these shows. We would much rather see a relationship, and because, yes, we would love to see them in a relationship for a full season, I'm sure. But the fact that they used the comedy of the will they won't they to get to this moment, I don't think it feels like a missed opportunity to not have them in a relationship for longer than just maybe one more episode. This was a fantastic show with, seriously, like, I, at this point, wouldn't change much. I do think the first few episodes are the weakest out of the show, but once you get into 4 through 6, that's really when it starts getting the momentum going, and then the last half of the show, focusing it over to our boy's perspective, really kept things fresh and exciting. And by introducing new characters like Carol, I mean, she never should have been as good as she turned out, but seriously, she might be the best character in this show, and the fact that she was more than just a funny meme, the fact that she probably has the heart on her sleeve more than any other character out there, the fact that she broke through Mizuzu, the ice-cold queen, to actually embrace friendship and compassion. You gotta love where this show ultimately ended up, and we'll see where it goes next week, of course. But thoughts and feelings, what did you think? I mean, it was kind of obvious the confession was either gonna happen this episode or next episode, just given that there's no way they didn't get to that point. But what did you think about how they went about it? Because it definitely went in directions I wasn't expecting, especially with Jun being as honest as he was, all things considered. But let me know what you're feeling down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Also be sure to ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload on the channel. And of course, we do have that full live reaction available on my Patreon. And while you're there, you'll also get a video shout out. So today we have Wujan, Sacha, Taylor, Isla Vance, and Trap Senpai. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.